Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we'll be making chocolate from chocolate. Yep. So, like I said before, we are making chocolates out of chocolate. And what I mean by that is we have three different kinds of chocolates with us today, and we have just a ton of them. And we'll be melting them, mixing them, and finally putting them in the fridge to see if we can make a whole new kind of chocolate. So let's get started. Alright, so let's first start with the chocolates. So we got our three types, and so we're just gonna take them and then we'll take them out, put them in the bowl like this. Boom. And let's do it with every single one of them. All right, and that was the last one. So let's get on to the next step. Okay, so step number 2, before we actually melt the chocolates and freeze it, I thought it'd be a good idea to mash it because some of the chocolates, especially like the Snickers, actually have other things in it besides chocolate. So, yeah. So I'm mashing it. Okay, so we've mashed it for a bit, and if you look at it, you can actually see the Kit Kat pieces are just super crumbly, and then you got the Snickers, which are really big pieces because of the caramel. So we've mashed it, and now I think it's time that we melt it. Okay, so we got the grinded pieces here, and now we gotta melt it. So what I think I'm gonna try is I have some boiled water. And if we just fill it up like this yeah, that might be good. And so this is hot, right? And what I'm thinking is if we put this in here, like so, it should eventually melt. So, let's see what happens. Okay, so we start this off, right? We just let it sit, right? So we move it around a little just to try to get it going because it does take some time. And if you actually look, you can actually see the steam from the heated water, and it's like rising. So we're moving it around, and the chocolate's actually floating. So I keep messing with it, checking it. Here I actually push it down to see if it would work, but that would take some time. So this is around the time where I started like asking on how to do it, and so I started mixing it, and then if you actually see, the chocolate is actually melting, which is great. So we keep doing this. mess around with the chocolate. We use the big spoon to mix it, the little spoon to get the chocolate off, and you just keep watching, and then you really see it melt. And then this is actually when I decided to add even more chocolate besides the three we already used. So we started adding some, just normal chocolate chips, and then we added white chocolate chips, and then we mixed it in to try to get it melted. Now these ones, the chocolate chips, they actually melted relatively fast, which was pretty cool. I added in more water just to keep the heat going. And so the chocolates that I actually used for it were normal Kit Kat bars, and I think I used like three of those. Um, and then I used the white chocolate Kit Kat bars, three of those, and then three almond Snickers. So there's a lot of Kit Kat in there, and then mixed with the other white chocolate chips, we actually have quite a bit of white chocolate in there, which is interesting. So we keep letting it melt, right? We keep mixing it just to, get it to work. And so far it's going good. It did take a bit of time. I think before I speeded it up, the total time for all of this was like 16 minutes, which is kind of crazy. But so we let it sit. We mixed it every once in a while with the spoons again. It continues to melt, but it gets to a point where, it stops melting in the water. So what I did was I dried it off, and instead I went for microwave instead. So microwaves heat things up relatively quick. So what I did is I just went for like 10-second increments. So this is the first time, 10 seconds, and then boom, right? We checked it out. It was a bit better, a bit more melted, but still not perfect. Um, so we cleaned it off, and then we actually put it in, I think, one more time at 15 seconds, which was pretty cool. What happened is after that, we checked on it one more time, and it was much better. Now, it wasn't like liquid chocolate, but it wasn't supposed to be at all. And I think this is where, like, after a bit of checking, bit of time, um, it was good. So we went with this. So, yeah. Okay, so after the last one, so we heated it up last time, so this time we're gonna be actually like making the chocolates. So what I decided to do is use this pink thing that you see, and this is actually it's an ice cube maker, and then so there's a lid. You just put it in, and then you close it. Yeah, and then you just put it in the freezer, and it'll freeze, and so it's really cool. And the really cool thing about this is that it was actually pretty easy to get in. So as you can see, I'm scooping. It's on fast mode now. And the chocolate, so I actually did get to try it like before the pre-chocolate, and the interesting thing is it doesn't taste like any of the chocolates before it. It still tastes like chocolate, but it doesn't taste like a Kit Kat, a Snicker, or chocolate chips. And then you can taste parts of them, but they're all different, which is really interesting. And then so you see me filling it, and this wasn't too difficult, but definitely took some time. I think it took like 6 minutes to fill the entire thing, which is actually kind of long, but yeah, we ended up having a little bit of extra afterwards, and yeah. So we're about like 2/3 done now, and then we just got 3 more rows to go. So we just keep filling it. Right, and the thing is, when I mixed the chocolate, they were actually kind of different, and it wasn't perfectly mixed. So that's interesting because that means that some of the chocolates may actually taste different from some of the others because of how they're mixed and how much of one composition it has. So like one of them could have a lot of Kit Kat in it, but no white chocolate chips, and then so it might taste a lot like a Kit Kat. But like one of them might have a ton, and it'll taste unique. Okay, so after we finished packing it, it was time to put it in the freezer. So I left it in actually overnight just to see how it cools, and then we should probably try it. So let's do that. So after leaving the chocolates in overnight in the fridge, I actually decided to take them out early to let them thaw out for a bit because they were absolutely just frozen. And like, I'm feeling it right now, it's still rock solid. It's just not as cold. So this is when I decided to actually take them out. Now, right now it looks a lot cleaner than it was before. Um, but before, when I actually first put it in, it was super messy. There was like parts in between the chunks of ice, spaces, and that connected all of them. So I actually had to, you know, pull those out. So this is me taking the ice cube chocolate things out. And yeah, I just basically kept hitting it on that thing until they came out. And it worked for pretty much all of them except for like a few, which just did not work. And so I kept going, and then it pretty much all worked out. So this is actually when I tried like cutting around the edges to see if that would work, but it really didn't because it just cut it in half. So only like some parts came out. And now we have it taken out. So that is how I made the chocolates. But how did they taste? Well, I actually took some time with them, and I actually have them here, and they are really good. So what ended up happening is that the chocolates didn't mix perfectly, which means you got all different kinds of flavors because there's like different compositions. Uh, some taste a lot like a Snickers, right? Where you can taste like the caramel and all that stuff. And then some of them just taste like milk chocolate, which is really interesting. Like this one, if you see, it has the Kit Kat wafer part, and then, but it also has like uh, the nuts of the Snickers almond, and then all the chocolate. So yeah, overall, this was a really cool test, and it was fun too. So yeah, if you ever want to try something new, even if it's something dumb like this, creating chocolate out of chocolate, I mean, if there's no danger to it, just do it because it's fun and a lot of the time it's rewarding. So, yeah, these things are really good. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you want, try it yourself. See you in the next one. Hey, if you liked that video, consider liking or subscribing to my channel. And if you didn't like it, do everything I just said and then comment down below on how I could change it. Thanks for watching.